Hey everybody, Crimson here. Just wanted to go over a couple of common questions for the build. This is the day 2 build update. So first off, I'm level 81 and 83%, and I'll show you my gear really quickly. So in weapon set 1, I have a Trarthan Cannon with some okay modifiers, +4 projectile skills, desecrated leech, reduced attribute requirements. We corrupted it and we have lightning runes in here, so it's alright. Then we have some complete trash rings, because I'm playing solo self-found, so we've got fire damage, and then garbage. And over here, we have % lightning damage, and then garbage. My Valakos, we got kind of lucky. They have really good armor and evasion, they have attack speed, and then we corrupted to get damage penetrates lightning resistance. I don't have anything good on my amulet, some resistances, max life, a little bit of spirit, and then my armor and evasion pieces are pretty bad. So just to sort of show you the options here. And then in my stash, we're still saving up items for an eventual evasion swap. My one really good piece that I'm quite happy with for my upcoming evasion swap is my helmet here. You'll notice I don't have any really good suffixes on this, but it has T2, 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 and so it has a little bit over 1,000 evasion on it. Still trying to figure out an opportunity to get a good chest piece. You can get a little bit over 2,500 if you get maximal lucky, but T4, T4, T4 is the best that I have so far. So that's where I am in progression, and I have a couple of Divine saved up. If I wanted to switch to Trade League, I could. I've actually been using Divines to reroll gear the way that they are intended to be used, and you can see here that if I buy items, I'm able to buy T11 maps, which means I've completed a T12. So we're entering the real endgame now on this character. I'm in SSF, I have trash gear. We're going to be figuring out some things. So I have a couple of common questions written down here. The first thing is weapon sets during progression. So the short answer to that is that the build guide does it for you automatically. During progression, you're supposed to have a crossbow in your first weapon set and a talisman in your second weapon set, and that means that all of your grenade and crossbow skills are in weapon set 1, and all of your talisman skills are in weapon set 2 automatically. I hope that that answers that question. Second thing is Gemling Legionnaire good? From what I've seen, it's good, but not transformatively good, by which I mean it seems like the options are helpful for the build. But I really like Sorcery Ward. Sorcery Ward is extremely comfortable. Together with Wind Dancer, you can get a huge hit pool, and that means that early progression Pinnacles, T12, T15 maps are going to be easy. If you're in Trade League, you'll probably have better gear than me, and you can progress even faster. So I would say that we're probably going to stay on Witch Hunter, or at least I am. The second question is when to swap to Valakos, or rather what support gems do you remove to swap to Valakos? And that's pretty straightforward. You have Multi-Shot 2 and Elemental Armament 2 in Explosive Grenade no matter what. Let me scroll up so you can see a little bit more easily. And then you put on Lightning Attunement and Innervate support when you swap to Valakos. That means that you do need to have a greater Jeweler's Orb before you can swap. And that will end up meaning a couple of things. One is that you need to make it to Nakanu at the end of Act 4, where you're guaranteed a greater Jeweler's Orb before you can swap. But the other thing that you can do is you can remove Short Fuse support and put Lightning Attunement in, so your support gems at that point would look like this if you get an early Valakos if you're in Trade League. So Lightning Attunement, Elemental Armament 1, Elemental Armament 2, and Multi-Shot 2 would be your supports at that point, and then when you get your greater Jeweler's Orb, you're able to add Innervate. Second question about some early progression stuff. People have been very interested in Trarthan Cannons. For Trarthan Cannons, as you can see, I've been experimenting with one. The problem is that they can't load or fire ammunition, and that means that explosive shot doesn't work, and that means that you need to keep a crossbow in your back pocket so that way you can detonate your grenades here. And so now I have a weapon set up where I have a Trarthan Cannon to deal my primary damage, and then I have just a junk crossbow. My crossbow before this one is now in my back pocket, so that way I'm able to detonate my grenades here. The other question that people have is how good is Redemption? Should I buy a Redemption? What should I be looking for? And the short answer is Redemption good, but not transformatively good. I think it's likely to be very good. I'm playing solo self-found, as you can see. I'm playing solo self-found, and so as a consequence, I don't have a lot of these chase items yet. I haven't had a chance to test them. People in my chat who've tried it, who've been able to afford a Redemption, say that it's really good and really good fun, but doesn't provide a ton of damage for the build. There are some things that we can do to the tree and supports in order to make better use of Redemption in particular. So I would say if you can afford it, it's fun to play with, but it's not going to like completely carry you. Second thing is supports and swaps for early explosive shot. Some people have had trouble affording or finding Ratha's Assault, the lineage support that gets us online, and so I've actually gone ahead and played through the build myself. I don't have a Ratha's Assault, and I made the swap anyways. So the first things first is get rid of your talisman swap, and you'll notice that on the talisman swap we have some points in attack speed here, as well as some attack speed down here as well. We remove both of those to take some reload bonuses, and then we forcibly assign explosive shot to weapon set 2 and explosive grenade and all of our other grenades to weapon set 1. So I have some reload bonuses here, reload speed, and rapid reload, as well as reload speed and efficient loading, and then another point in reload speed here. And then the next thing that you need is a copy of Streamlined Rounds. Streamlined Rounds says your reload takes 500 million years. However, it takes 500 million years. However, you load 6 bolts instead of 1. And that is extremely helpful for us because now I have a longer period of time. And when it's on weapon set 2, the reload is actually not too bad. Here, I'll press the button. 3, 2, 1, press. And it reloads immediately sometimes. And other times it takes about 3 to 4 tenths of a second. So it's not too bad, but Ratha's Assault will be something that smooths you out and still should be your first luxury buy. The other question that people have is why we aren't using Constricting Command, or for that matter, why Viper Masks are highlighted as a chancing base. And that's pretty straightforward. They're extremely strong. The reason is Viper Masks and Constricting Command reduce the number of enemies required for you to be surrounded. Surrounded, if you're unfamiliar, is you are surrounded if there are at least 5 enemies within 3 meters of you. And Constricting Command reduces that number from 5 potentially all the way down to 1, which is really, really strong because it means that if you're close to, for example, a boss, you can get surrounded. And the benefit of surrounded is that there are a couple of wheels in the mercenary area of the tree that provide really, really strong bonuses for very few points. The first one that you'll see here is 30% evasion, 25% attack damage, 25% attack damage, and 20% attack speed, together with a radius effect, as well as some life regeneration. And over here, you can see that there's dodge roll distance and movement speed, as well as deflection rating, and huge attack damage. So the first things first is if you do get a Constricting Command, congratulations. There are a couple of places that you can take points out of in the build in order to do that. The one that would occur to me first is this shock magnitude here, and then you would just take these 4 points, evasion, attack, and attack speed. And that would be a big boon for those 4 points, so I would encourage you to try that. The other thing that you could do, if you really wanted to come over here and get more bonuses here, is you could take the points out of the Giant Slayer wheel, as well as out of Demolitionist, and populate the Frantic Fighter Favorable Odds Tactical Retreat wheel. So that's what to do if you get a Constricting Command. I haven't had a chance to put it in POB and do the full math for you, but that's the thing that I would engage. I hope that that answers the questions that most people have. I'll still be live on Twitch over the course of most of today. The other thing that I wanted to do really, really quickly was some people had questions about a budget craft for crossbows and how to get a crossbow for progression. So if you are in SSF like me, you're looking for something that has 100% or more increased physical damage on a cannonade crossbow and some good suffix. It's possible to get up to +5 levels of projectile skills, but +2, +3, +4 would still be fine. Or you could get an opportunity for like attack speed or critical hit chance or something. We should be preferring cannonade crossbows to Trarthan Cannons, so you'd find some good base like this. This is on the higher end of what might be available. If you have a couple of divines to rub together, this is your progression base option as a cannonade crossbow with as nice of physical damage as you can afford. Ideally, you want it to be 135% or better, and then some good suffix, ideally levels. But if you can't afford that, then attack speed or crit chance would be fine. First things first, you're going to take a greater Essence of Abrasion, which is going to add physical damage to it. This would be like a middle roll for an Essence of Abrasion. So at this point, you'd have % increased physical damage, flat physical damage, and projectile skill levels. Then you are going to take an Omen of the Liege. So I will write that. You're going to take an Omen of the Liege, okay, plus a preserved jawbone, okay. and this is your like ultra budget RNG craft, okay? So you're going to take this, at this point up to here it's deterministic, and then you're going to desecrate, and when you reveal you will either get a prefix or you will get a suffix. If you can afford to do so, you can buy an omen to force the desecration to be a prefix, which would be really, really good. And then if you get the prefix, you've won, congratulations. You have 100% increased grenade damage, or rather between 100 and 120% increased grenade damage, and then 30% increased grenade duration, but that doesn't matter because we're using explosive shot. And at that point, you would have physical damage, and grenade damage as your prefixes, and then you have 2 open suffixes, one of them already being good because you bought or crafted it. The other thing that you do is if you get a suffix is you get 25% chance for grenades to activate a second time, which is among the better suffixes that are possible for the build. And then you would be hoping that when you craft this that you would get physical damage, and then either fire or lightning. And this is your budget progression build. This will get you into T15s. If I show you my Atlas, for example, you'll see that with a worse crossbow than that craft, I've already been able to complete the Enigma Chambers, I've been able to defeat the Arbiter of Ash, and now we're progressing toward the Arbiter of Divinity. You can see that all of these things are completely fine here. So, long story short, I hope that that helps. I'll be live all day on Twitch, probably for something like 12 to 16 hours. So if there are any questions, I will be happy to help. And that's your like day 2 budget update. If you're ahead of me and you have a much nicer crossbow than that, then you're looking to do a pretty similar craft, but at a higher budget on a siege crossbow, which is the level 79 base that you start finding in tier 15 maps. So with that, stay sane, exiles, and I hope that that answers your questions. Bye-bye.